All right, welcome back to the Dude Brothers podcast. This is episode 3, Surviving Horror. We're going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie franchise. And what we're trying to do for you guys is once a month leading up to next October, we're going to be talking about horror movies and ranking some of the best of the horror genre. And so today we're going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise and giving you our ranking, if you will, or just the best to worst or worst to best, what we think about it. And if
we're kind of going off the top of our head. It's not like we sat down, researched each one, graded them, and picked it. I mean, if you do that, you might have a different list. But with saying, I mean, if we've seen them all, and you haven't seen them in a while, that's an easier way to pick your favorite. Because if you remember something, if you go back and watch it today to make a video, you kind of tainting your answers because, you're like, oh, I just saw this today. But if you say Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you haven't seen it in 10 years and you remember stuff, that shows it's a good movie, if you like what you saw anyway.
Well, I'll go ahead and start, and I'm going to start with my top choice in the franchise, and that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now, this is a little nostalgic for me because I used to watch it a lot with my cousin, but although the first one is the classic and it is classic horror, I like the take of the second one because they threw comedy in it. You have Dennis Hopper in it, who gets in a chainsaw battle with Leatherface.
Doesn't he have dueling chains?
He puts chains? 2 on the side.
Like 6 guns,
But they also bring back the classic family from the first one. It's the same old man. In that one, you might remember, he's making chili, and he wins the chili contest. We don't know as the audience, it's made with people, and they ask him, what's your secret? And he says, it's the meat. And you find out later, you find out through all the movies they're cannibals. Yeah. So, what do you remember about the second one?
The second one, actually, I mean, I tend to always like the first horror movie in every horror movie. It's almost like a curse. But the second one, stands out to me because for some reason, to me, the second one was scarier. The first one, you kind of feel like there's one bad guy chasing you. It could be your next door neighbor. Your neighbor goes crazy with an axe, you run from him. But the second one, you got the feel where they're all over the place. Like, there's no escape.
Because the girl's in the big underground amusement park
and you
thing.
see them constantly. You spend a lot of time with the horror people.
It opens with 2 guys, frat boy looking, driving, and the truck pulls up next to him, and it's Leatherface and them, and Leatherface has the skeleton in front of him. And they're like, what's going on? And he cuts the guy's head off. So right off the bat, you're hit with, here it is.
Yeah.
And you had the girl survive, and this is the one where the girl Slim, who's the radio host, gets the recording because the 2 frat guys call in, and she gets the recording of them getting chopped up. Dennis Hopper plays a Texas Ranger, oddly enough, and he shows up when he hears it and tells her to play the audio, and that will be kind of bait. The problem is the old man who with the chili hears it over the radio and tells Leatherface and Crop Top has the metal plate with the hanger, who eats the skin off of it, to go get the audio from the girl. So they show up at the radio station, and you get the famous scene where Crop Top's talking to the girl Slim, and he says, well, what's in here? And that's when you get it's a jump scare, but Leatherface comes running out and chasing her, and then he puts the chainsaw in the ice and goes up her leg, and you get that weird crap with that, and you're like, what's going on?
That's another thing about this movie I think makes it kind of scary is you watch other horror movies, you don't see Freddy Krueger eating breakfast and, folding his laundry. This movie, like you said, you had the guy with the hanger, nobody's around him, it's not like he's fighting somebody or nothing. He's sitting there, that's what he would be doing on a normal day. He's sitting there, he's got a hanger, he's scratching his skull, basically, with a hanger, and you know, but like I said, you kind of like, you're in the house with them, hanging out with them. You know, you're seeing what they're doing every day. It's not, yeah, it's not like, you know, so, okay, you know, Michael Myers is chasing you around, but you don't see Michael Myers like on his day-to-day life. These guys you do.
Right.
And another thing about the second one, the first one, it just seems like he wanted to kill him, you know, kind of quick. I mean, you know, going back out of memory. But the second one, like, they were gonna torture you, you know, which is always creepier. Like, you'd rather somebody come up and shoot you than keep you in their dungeon, you know.
Right. Well, let's take that and what you just said and lead into my next one. Is the first one, the classic 19, I think it's 64, 67. But the classic to me is, you know, it's got its scary moments because one, you have a house in the middle of nowhere in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You start off with, they pick up a hitchhiker who apparently escaped, they don't know, from the house. But what you see, and they kind of use this in almost all the other ones, remakes, whatever, where they either dress up like the sheriff or they act like they're the next person coming down the road to save them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what's good about this whole franchise is the whole family acts as a point. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know who you're running into. Some of them, they go into the house and, oh, here's the guy in the wheelchair and he's okay. But this person, you know, and they hide Leatherface till the end.
Well, yeah, it'd be like, you know, if you're watching, you know, Halloween or Friday the 13th, and you escape from Jason or Michael Myers, you're running down the street, you see a cop car, you jump in a cop car, and you realize it's Jason with the hockey mask, but he's got the sheriff hat on. Or, you know, so, you know, they disguise themselves. The first one, the thing that I always think of was narrated by the guy from
John
Night Court.
Larroquette.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up. John Larroquette from Night Court, which I think most people would know him from.
Yeah.
We always knew him from Blind Date with Bruce Willis. Although, how many people listen to this remember Blind Date with Bruce Willis?
But I think that was his first role ever.
Probably. That was pretty old.
But it was just talking. Now, I want to bring up a fun fact, and a lot of people bring this up because they found out, but in the movie, in the first one, when they're in the house, you see like bones everywhere, and they actually used real bones and real pig guts, and given the heat of Texas and everything, people supposedly were getting sick on set because it would stink. But that's the appeal to me. Like,
I heard that about old movies. Like, they used to say, like, to make fake zombie guts or something, it would cost them $50 to make a bucket of fake blood and zombie guts. But, like, you could go to a butcher shop and get pig intestines for, like, they would give it to you for free or something, you know? So a lot of those old movies actually use some pretty nasty stuff, you know?
By the way, it was 1974 was the original.
Nice.
Okay. Now, the next
like
one...
45 years ago?
Yeah. 2 came out in 86, excuse me.
But damn, the first one's going to be like, 45 years ago, it's going to be pushing 50 years old.
Yeah. And it's still talked about. Now, we're going to...
That's what's cool about it, that being that old, because when it was filmed, you know, because I think they made the one Leatherface or something. It looks so modern.
Yeah.
You know, with special effects and shit. Like, when you make a movie in 1976, it looks all grainy and home movie-ish. Like, and especially for that kind of movie.
They said they put like a yellowish tint to the movie, in the original, to make it look old.
Could be Freddy Krueger, you want special effects. He can do anything. He's magical, he can jump around and fly. Why not use special effects? But a movie like that, it's like filmed in a country folks. The homegrown quality makes it even creepier. You know?
Now, we're going to go to, let's see, it was 1990, Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 came out. There's not much to say about this. There was not much good about it. You have the...
Wait, which one? This is 3?
Yeah.
What is it? That tells you something right there. Because I mean, until you say something to jog my memory, I can't even think of what the hell's going on in 3. So
I believe this is the one. It has the poster where the lipstick is the chainsaw. But anyway, I can't remember his name. But if you have seen, for anybody who has seen the Rob Zombie Halloween, the Joe Grizzly, the African American guy in the bathroom, he takes the outfit from. He's in that movie, and there's not much to it because it's just they have the family, they run the gas station, they trick people so they can cannibalize them, and there's not many funny jokes, and so we're not going to talk much about that one.
But that makes my point from earlier. It's like, you don't really have to sit there and think about your list. You just talk about the movies, and if we sit here and talk about, Texas Chainsaw Massacre for a half an hour, and all we're doing is talk about 1 and 2,
right,
that tells you your favorites right there. Now, you don't need to, it's like you remember or,
In 3, the one thing a lot of people remember, and...
Now, some people remember a movie if it's really, really bad.
Right.
But
this was just bad.
Yeah,
Not so bad it's good, but in this one, for whatever reason, Leatherface completely cross-dresses. He has a black dress, and he puts makeup on his mask, and... they make that point like they don't do it
almost like Hannibal Lecter kind of thing,
right?
Not Hannibal Lecter, but the other guy, Wild Bill or whatever, because he was making a human skin to be a woman more than
right. Now you see in some of the reboots and some of the remakes and some of the other ones, Leatherface has a messed up face, like his teeth are messed up,
and that's why he wears
the mask. In this one, they show his teeth are fine. They don't really show his face. But it's unforgettable. So,
I hope his teeth aren't too fine, because if his teeth are too fine, it means he's going to the dentist.
But they look great. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That would be a little plot, not to nitpick, but, it's kind of like,
Now,
because either he goes to the dentist or he brushes his teeth, and you just can't picture him sitting there. I don't know, he might have a toothbrush made out of human bone or something.
Probably so. All right, the next one, and that last one, 3, is probably on the worst. Now, right above that in the worst category is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation in 1995. This one is well known for 2 reasons. Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger in before they were anybody. Now, fun fact: when they reprinted the covers, those 2 actors got Academy Awards, so they're on the cover. Matthew McConaughey in the movie is really nuts. He has a robotic leg that goes nuts. This one starts off, they're at a dance or a prom, and that crew ends up at the house. And that's pretty much all the movies they're in. So there's not much to say that's new. You got a new group of people. But
let me Google this real quick, but I think I heard that was the best movie ever made. Let me see. No, it's not. I Googled it. I was wrong. No.
Yeah.
It's not the best movie ever made.
No, I mean, I saw it back then.
But see, that's a movie I have nothing to say about, and I probably saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, no. Me and you watched every horror movie.
Like, I forgot about the Matthew McConaughey. Once you said it, I remember it. But, I mean, if you sit there and said, list everything about 1 and 2 you remember.
Because they're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I can sit there and list 1,000 things. But like
Renee Zellweger in that movie is the girl who makes it. But there's nothing different. It's the funny part.
You know what I compare movies like that to? Like, 1 and 2. A lot of these movies you think they're classics and stuff. But like the movie, when you get to 3, 4, 5, when they start getting lame, people complain about them. But I don't, because to those movies, to me, I compare like going to a haunted house. It's Halloween time. You want to get scared. You walk into a haunted house, somebody jumps out and scares you, you laugh with your friends, you have a good time, it's over. You're not going to remember, 10 years ago I went to this haunted house and this guy was dressed like a bat. I mean, it's not really going to, but it did what it was supposed to do. You got a few scares, you laughed about it. Maybe it was maybe it was so bad it was funny, but you still get some enjoyment out of it. But it really kind of reminds me of a haunted house, that serves its purpose,
Yeah, the house got smaller. They added different family members you never heard of. And Matthew McConaughey, like, Renee Zellweger picks up the shotgun. And he's like, go ahead and do it. And it's obviously empty. And he does all these... There's nothing more remarkable about it. But they were trying, like most... Let's try and make some money off the name of the movie. Mm-hmm. So, that's second to worst.
That's why, like I said, I really don't have anything to say about it. I don't remember, much,
All right. Now... we're going to talk about they had in 2003. It's just called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the shot-for-shot remake. Okay, which we might as well say right after that in 2006, they had the beginning, and then so
how many were there?
Well, we have the original.
Right.
Then we have 2 in 86, 3 in 1990. Then the Next Generation in 95, which is the Matthew McConaughey one. Then 03 is
all right.
the remake. Then 06 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. So, yeah, the shot for shot. Then they do the one where they go back a little bit to talk about, like, his origins, if you want to say that.
They messed up. They dropped the ball. What they should have did was, like, follow, like, the Ernest format and be like, Leatherface Christmas.
Right.
Leatherface goes to jail. Leatherface, on the moon,
Well,
because it's easier to remember. Because you think about, okay, what was that Ernest movie where he was in jail? I think it was the one where it says Ernest goes to jail. But they have all these names,
So on the list, I would say 2 is my top, then 1, then I would put like the remake because it's at least shot for shot. You get what you're looking for. Then the beginning because it doesn't stray too far. It adds a little more. Now,
well, I'm the later ones. I mean, some of those I might have just seen on TV bits and pieces. Like if it's Halloween, and it's on. I'd put it on. Maybe change the channel on a commercial. So the only 2 I really can say. I mean, before the video, it's like you asked me. It's like what's your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre? My first reaction, like most movies, is say the first. But after talking about them, I remember all this cool stuff about the second one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, my top pick is the second one, then the first one, Now,
I'm going to add this in because, but they did have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. Now, I saw this one time. I don't remember much. The main thing maybe people remember is Leatherface goes up to like a speak and spell type thing for kids to answer questions. And it says, what is this? It's a picture of a clown. And he types in food. But you get the group of people in the house and they get
he
trapped.
He should have typed in like carnival food.
Right. And one gets out. So that goes at the bottom of the list. The last one on the list that we're going to put right in the middle, and I'm going to speak about it because I know Max hasn't seen it yet. Leatherface. This was
that's the newest one, right?
2017.
That's the only reason. That's the only thing I know about it. It's the newest one.
So you have
who directed? Not Rob Zombie. Yeah.
Oh no! The director is
because I got to go back and watch
Sex Sherwood.
Somebody was telling about the Hills Have Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes.
Was it good?
That was Wes Craven did the first original one.
Really?
The problem with that was like they killed and raped people. And
I think I've only seen Yeah,
but Leatherface. The problem, and most people, if you haven't seen it, might remember from the trailer. They show Leatherface as a kid, and they give him for his birthday the chainsaw, and he's like 9 years old.
Huh.
Now, in the movie, you have a sheriff played by Brad Dourif, who was the bad guy in Blade. But anyway, and he knows there's something wrong with the family. And the problem with this movie is you see Leatherface. They make it a mystery. So you have a group of kids in high school. So you have the fat kid and the nerdy one and you're trying to like who's going to become Leatherface. And they go into the
well, my guess
real
is the kid
gore.
That got the chainsaw for his birthday.
Well, yeah, they jump in time with that one, but it's almost like Rob Zombie, where it's like we're going to concentrate on the gore. So when this guy gets shot by a shotgun, it's the worst.
But a cool thing about Leatherface is, I mean, he's just a human being, right? You shoot him, he dies. He gets cancer, he dies.
That's the thing, and they never make him supernatural.
It'd be cool if, like, somebody goes to hunt him down, like Dennis Hopper's character. It's like, what if they got an expert on mentally crazy killers and they call Loomis?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. By the way, if you're listening, stay tuned. We do have in the works a crossover universe, and I'm going to give you one example. In Weird Science, the Robert Downey Jr. character goes on to college, which leads to the Back to School movie, and eventually he becomes Iron Man. But that's for another day. So there's a short version of our favorites. If you were to ask us, I would stick with 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then maybe see one of the 2 reboots, because it's just a modern look at the old ones. But Next Generation and 3, and even like Leatherface, we don't need to see him as a kid. I really don't care.
It's almost like girls you date in high school. It's like, you see the first one back in the day, and it's all great and perfect. The second one's awesome too, But then, 10 years go by, and you be like, oh, there's a, new movie out, or you look this girl up on Facebook, and then once you see it, you're like, F that.
That's right. All right, everybody. Thank you. This is the Dude Brothers Podcast, Episode 3, Surviving Horror, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's our view on that series. We're going to try and do one a month leading up to October. And we're not going to say it, but you could probably guess which movie series will be in October. But as we love horror movies,
could very well be Ernest Goes to Christmas.
It could be. Actually, it's Ernest Scared Stupid or something like that. They did
Halloween one, yeah. Well, we'll have to throw that in there sometimes.
There's our take. If you want us to do something special, just let us know. But
yeah, because this is, mainstream horror movies are fun, but, we're looking for oddball stuff, too.
And we will get into odd ones come closer to Halloween, but we're always going to try and talk horror when we can. This was a look at the Chainsaw Massacre because, everybody at least knows about it. And just like we were talking about, until you bring it up, most of the time you're like, oh, that one. Oh, yeah, I remember that scene. Right. And that was stupid. But thank you for joining us. And stay tuned for more. Max and Chubbs, the Dude Brothers. Over and out.
Massacre.